Hey guys, I'm back for another video here. I just wanted to show you something, well, a few things. Two, actually, things I've been doing. First thing is, I've got a website now. It's okcodingforfun.weebly.com. I just kind of pulled it out of my ass last minute, about 5 minutes ago. Started a forum, it's me. Yeah. And I've got a, little thing there, and you can reply to it like, hey, blah blah blah, here's my code. Yeah. I'm working on the download file thing where you can upload your file, but for some reason it isn't loading all the way, whatever. You can go to your edit profile and you can change your picture, change avatar, blah blah blah. Change your signature. Mine should be Moo. Moo. Cause I'm just that awesome.
Really? Sorry, Mom. Now you can play Wix Believe It. The magic is in you. Available now. Each sold separately.
Does that happen? That's weird. Huh. It's giving me this weird error. I don't really know. I'll fix it later though. So yeah. Just thought it was something cool that you guys might like. You can always ask me questions on here. Here's the website. Codingforfun.weebly.com. Yeah, I'm not actually coding my own website because, for one, I don't know HTML or enough to actually do this kind of stuff. So until I get that done, I'll be using like templates on other like those create websites. Currently got the page opener in this thing, working on it, and currently this is the home page too, so you'll jump right into the forum. Eventually you'll have like a home page welcoming you, and then you can go into the forum and stuff and blah blah blah. I'll separate it better, but for now, let's do this. Alright, now second thing I wanted to show you is I've been working on a game. I'm guessing you guys heard of it. If you heard of Pong. Cool sound effects, huh? I'm just gonna go ahead and lose. So you see it displays the you lost, and if I win it displays the you won screen. So this is probably gonna be the next game we're gonna make. It's not hard. I'm sure it looks hard. I don't know if I talked about Collision. I've re-recorded so many videos so many times, I don't know if I have or I haven't, but if you didn't notice, there's also sound effects in that one, which is really easy to do, and I'll be teaching you guys how to do that kind of stuff. That's strange. Why is that in there? I have no need for that. Why do you exist? So yeah. I'll be teaching you guys that. But not this lesson. This lesson is going to be brutal. For example, today is going to be about the dreaded pointers, and I've taken notes on them, so that way I can get you guys a better view of it if you need. So go to your IDE, and in the case that you're using Microsoft Visual C++ like I am, just wait till it opens real quick, and go to New Project. I swear to God, this is going to be one of the last console projects for a while. Click Win32, the Win32 console project. Wait. Pointers, because they are so dreaded. Click Next. Get rid of that precompiled header. Click Empty Project. Then click Finish. Now, the reason that pointers are hated among the programming world, for one, people don't really know how to, well, beginners don't really know how to use them too well, because you don't see how they would apply in a game. Believe me, they do eventually once we get into, like, creating your own framework. Which I want to say that this framework that I've been using to teach you guys the graphics is not actually my framework. It's this guy named Chili. I think I've said that a bunch of times. But, so when I teach you guys how to test for collision and stuff, which will probably be in the next video, do not attempt to sell anything, because you'll have the GPU, not GPU, yeah, GPU, because the general public license, all over you because you do not have a license to redistribute that framework and sell stuff with it. I asked his permission if I could use this for my videos and stuff, and he said that was fine. So that's the only reason I have permission to make tutorials with this framework. But when I make my own framework, and I've been working on it a little bit, but it is very complicated, and it takes a while. It's not something I can just pull out in 5 minutes. I need to check for all possible bugs and stuff. It'll be a few months before it's completely ready for you guys, and at a beginner level in DirectX, which is going to be like the framework we're using, kind of. Platform is what it's called. And you guys can feel free to redistribute stuff and sell stuff with that. But you guys shouldn't think about making a very big game right now, because you won't be able to sell it legally, and then you'll have the cops on you. Well, not by me, but if you get caught selling it and the GPU catches you, they'll probably make a big case about it. So enough about that. Let's add a new... Yes, just don't mind the blackout here. Ay. So add a new item .cpp file and name it main. Okay, so the thing that we want to do first is do number include. Let me think here. Do I want to include IOStream? Yeah, let's do it. I was thinking about including stdio, but I don't want to teach you guys about the put character stuff right now. Using namespace std into main. Easy enough, right? I'm actually going to teach you guys something a little different. Instead of int, just do void, because that means it has no returning value. Void equals null. And null is defined as 0, right? Void means absolutely nothing. If it was an integer, we'd have to do like return 0 or return null or return x plus 1, whatever you want to do at the bottom of your program. But because it's a void, we don't have to do that, so it is a little bit easier. Go ahead and do a system pause. If you don't know what that is, I believe I've explained that before. It just pauses your program so that way it doesn't instantly close on you. And this is what you should get. Yeah, you'll just get this, as we know. I believe you know. So, first things first. Pointers. So first of all, we have to go to what is a pointer? Well, I'm glad you asked. A pointer is similar to an array in the case that we can have places in memory, and those places in memory can hold values. Now it's very important that you paid attention during that arrays video. If you haven't, then you may want to, because that information is going to be coming in handy. I'll re-repeat some of it, because I know a lot of you guys probably didn't listen, and I know you don't want to go back, you want to just continue on, and I'm right there with you. So I'll do my best to explain it again, because it's always good to review too. I mean, this is not easy stuff. Why did I make so many freaking squares? It's okay. Probably won't use nearly a quarter of them, but it's alright. So, this is going to be our address column. Instead of 36, let's make that like... And I'm going to make it like 12-point font. Alright, now this is going to be our address. This is going to be our variable. What it points to. And you know what? Let's not even do that. Where's my eraser? How do I make that bigger? Size. Yeah. Erase all that shit. I should probably use like a spray paint thing, huh? With a white color. Then make it really big. I'm just gonna pause this while I fix that real quick. And I fixed it up a little bit, so that way we can actually do some stuff now. What it points to, and I believe this will be the results, which are very, very important to pay attention to because it may not make sense to you. Alright, so first of all, we're going to start off by declaring, oh god, sorry I almost burped there, but a pointer. So how do we declare a pointer? Well, we do int star, and we're going to call it P for pointer. The star is called the dereference operator when it's used right next to the variable like that. We'll get into more in-depth when that kind of stuff in a minute. So let's go to my paint here. Oh, not quite. First of all, we need to declare another variable. Let's just call it int x equals 5. And we're going to actually output the value of x, which should be 5 if I'm correct. It better be, otherwise I will go insane and then I will die. Alright, so 5. So, let's go to our address. Now what's the address? It's the first one in our program, so we're just going to call it 1. It probably isn't that. What's the variable? I screwed something up there. Wonder. Oh, and I can. Perfect. Alright, so I need to make another little column thing. Where is my liney thing? That'll be long enough. Okay. Now, we have our variable that we're talking about, which right in this case is x. Now we're going to have our p variable, which is going to stand for pointer variable. And then what it points to. And then this is going to be the results. I'm not going to demand that you guys make your own chart and stuff to follow along, but it would be helpful. Oh, you don't have to though. So let's see. The variable is px. And right now it doesn't point to anything. Sorry, not px. It should just be p, right? Because our variable's name is p. Alright. So you've got x, which is the address of 1. What's its value? X's value is 5. What's p's value? This may shock you. Oh god, oh god. Undefined, because we haven't given the value. So, let's actually do some stuff now. So I'm about to blow your mind here. Just don't freak out when I do this. Let's see. What's I do? Cannot be assigned to an entity of type int. Ah, okay. I think I get it here. Sees that as a pointer, and it's seeing that. Okay. So, we're going to assign P equal to 3. Now we're going to point... Now, let's see. P equals at address of x. Why are you giving me this? Oh, it should be down there, huh? Oops. Did not mean to do that. No, let me pause this real quick because I think I did something wrong, but I don't see it. And I've debugged it. I couldn't declare my pointer like this. I had it like int p, and then I had it set to like p equals at, yeah. Alright. That was wrong of me to do. You don't do that. If you do that, it'll give you an error. You have to kind of declare it when you need it. Alright. So we have right here x equals 5. That we know. So we see that we have a pointer declared, and it's named p. Alright. Well, we see equals at x. What does that equal? Alright. Well, that's actually called the address of operator. And what it does is it takes p and x. Now p is currently undefined. X has a value. So it takes this undefined value and it looks at the address of x. This is x's address in memory. Is currently 1. Okay, so what it would do, nope, not my website, is it looks at this and it says p is now equal to 1, basically. Even though it's not. The address won't literally be 1. It'll be like not that one again. It'll be something like 000F8461 blah blah blah. A bunch of weird garbage crap that doesn't make sense. But it takes that address and it moves it to there. So basically p is equal to x, basically. But you'd be wrong. For example, if p is equal to x, and for example, let's just do x right here. It says 5, right? So if p is equal to x, I should be able to put p and we should get 5. Oh no, we get 0026FF1C. Well, in this case, that's where x is located at in memory. It doesn't look at x's value at all. This value of x means absolutely nothing to this pointer. A pointer, it just looks at the address of where something is, and we can change the value from there. But you would never actually look at the value. So if I do x and I do star p equals 3 and I don't change anything else in there, it changes that value to 3. You're like, whoa, this blows my mind, bro. Well, it should. Why is that there? That was weird. There's a little breakpoint thing right there. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was in the recording. But anyways. So right now this is undefined. We give it 3. Cannot write with that thing. We give it the value of 3. So what it does is it takes this value of 3 and it looks wherever the address is. It comes over to this address thing. It says, ooh, x is located at the address of 1. Ooh, but we're assigning a value now. So we're going to go down to where its value is and actually change that with our pointer variable. Which it did. I really hope this is making sense. I'll go over it again. We've got a regular integer. And we've got our pointer. We set it to the address of x. So that way it knows to go to this specific address. And as I believe I talked about in arrays, each variable has its different address. So that way it'll never get confused no matter if I have like x, x1, x0, blah blah blah. It would never ever get confused because each one has their own unique address. So it just knows to go to that little spot. Don't do anything but go to that spot and keep its address stored in memory. It's kind of like how people used to have phone books and stuff. Now we've got our iPhones and crap like that, which is nice. We've got like notes and stuff, and you can write down addresses and stuff in there. And let's say we're getting ready to go to somebody's house, and we don't know their phone number, but we have their address. we can still get there using their address. And once we get there, we can do stuff, hang out, whatever. But we need their address to know how to get to their house, right? It's basically the same thing. This is the house of X, where X lives. And once we get to there, we can do stuff on the inside of X. For example, change its value. So yeah, that's all you need is you need its address. And that is a very low-leveled introduction to pointers there. And of course, you can do pointers with other things than integers. Like you can have a floating, floating pointer, double pointer, short pointer, long pointer, whatever. But you can also have an array of pointers, I believe. And let's do define function, which I talked about. Let's define number of pointers as 7. And let's do number of pointers. For aggregate object. What the hell is it yelling at me now? I know if that's yelling at me because it's not a pointer now. With expected for... Oh, okay, I know what it's talking about. Alright, so it wants me to give it a value. I'm going to have to declare an array of pointers here. Alright. Yeah, it's too complicated for you guys. For now, let's not deal with pointers, because it looks like they are going to cause more trouble than they're worth right now. We'll talk more about that when we use them later. You really won't be using pointers and arrays together too much, even though they are extremely similar. And they do coincide a lot. They do work together, basically. Oh, so the output is, in this case, 3. We have a nice big old 3 right there. Yeah, that big old box just for that 3. So, just for another example, I'm going to go ahead and do this here. 2. So you create a variable y, and our pointer variable is going to be z. Z points to y. Z is undefined. Did I spell it right? Undefined. Yep. Y has a current value of 7. Okay. Now, if z is pointing to y, and we change the value of z to 5, what happens? Well, if you don't know, let's go ahead and write it out here. So it's pointing to y. Alrighty. So it would be not just for the fashion in mind. Into y equals 7, I believe. Yep. And our pointer int z is equal to the address of y, where y lives. Now we're just going to say y. What happens? Well, the output, my friends, is going to be 7. Okay. Now, what happens if we change it to pointer z equals 11? What would be the new output? I'm hoping that you guys are following this and you got 11 as well, because that would be what happens. It would change the value of y to 11. So that's a basic introduction into pointers. We're not going to get into some of the more complicated pointers, like this pointer, which can also be abbreviated like that and stuff. Yeah, those are slightly more complicated, and we won't be using them too much for what we're doing now. So, let me check my recording time. I'm doing okay. I can babble on for longer, way longer. Okay. So, am I missing anything? Let me check my pointer notes. Because I really don't want to miss anything. No? I believe that I've taught you pretty much everything there is to know about basic, very basic pointers. Alright. So, let's go ahead and go and extract a new framework, the updated one. I'm going to extract to my C++ lessons folder, because that's what I do. Let's rename it pointers. You can name it whatever you want, but this will be easy enough to follow. And you're probably wondering how this applies in the game. Like I said, it's going to be really advanced. Let me just show you an example of what something done with pointers is. All this is pointers crap. And it looks nothing like what we just did. Because what I said, what we just did is very, very basic pointers. These are pointers too. There's this pointer I was talking about. You guys don't need to know any of this. This all works in the background. But if you look in here, you don't see the star thing anywhere, do you? No, it's really not in here. I don't think I see a single one in there. Nope, but I think I see the address, or the, yep, there's the @address of operator. So you know whatever this is, result is pointing to the address of this, and the address of this, and the rest of that, and it's doing something with it. You know, you now have a little more knowledge as towards what all of this means. And this, my friends, is the secrets to how the framework works. And this is basically what you gotta do, all these pointers and crap. When you're making a game like this. Or when you're making a framework of your own. And when we get into that, when you guys create your own framework in a few months, maybe the maximum, maybe a month and a half if you're lucky, we will be dealing with this stuff. So take a good look at it now. But for now, let's just go ahead and think of where pointers would come in handy. Okay, now, crap, I really shouldn't have done that yet. I'll try to make it work in this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do, you know, let's take a look at our drawLine function. The updated framework has this thing, the int dy and dx and stuff, and it's swapping them. And you see that it does this. Well, we can clean that up a little bit. So let's do void d3d graphics, and let's name it swap. Go this thing and just do void swap. This is an easy example. Do I need that? I'm thinking. Alright. So we're just going to cut all this. Control X. Control V. X1 is undefined. Oh no. Y2. Turns out we're going to need to put those 4 variables. 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever. Just go ahead and put those variables in there. And same thing for this swap function, otherwise it'll screw up. and tell us that we're wrong. Which I'm not. I'm always right. And you're going to want to get the whatever was in this else if absolute dy greater than absolute dx if dy is less than 0. Blah, blah, blah. And we're going to call swap. Okay. So, yeah, it should work, right? You think it would. It's not that bad of an idea. If we build and run it, nothing crashes. It's not like we screwed anything up. We did everything right. It's just there's nothing there, so we can't test it. So first of all, let's go ahead and get some mouse input. So let's do mouse.getMouseX. And do the mouse.getMouseY. And that's all we're going to need to know for now. Alright, so first of all, I'll do if mouse dot is in window, because we want to make sure the mouse is in the window, right? Then get the coordinates for the mouse. But we want to draw a line. To the mouse X and mouse Y, and we're just going to make the line white. I hope this is simple enough for you guys to get. We're drawing the line from wherever the mouse's X coordinates are to the Y coordinates. Oh, and we're going to draw them. Wait a second. What I do here? Oh, go up here and do and mouse dot left is pressed. So if we click the left, wait again. No, that's right. Feel like I'm wrong there, but I know I'm not. And we are going to do it to 400, 400, comma 300. So if I'm correct here, should just draw a line, right? Oh god, it disappears. And you're like, why? It worked just fine. If you were to test this out beforehand, you know that it worked. Well, what it's doing is it's not swapping the Y values and the X values for there. This is what happens when we mess around with the swap function. And this is going to get you some help with your pointers too. Well, the reason why is because this is in its own scope. I believe I talked about scope. Not the mouthwash. Scope is the way that the variables communicate. These variables could exist inside of this function, but the very second that these variables are moved into this function, they don't mean the same thing. They now mean whatever they mean in this function. They could equal like 10 in here, and if they're set to 20 in here, and you're moving the variables from in here to in there, it's going to get them confused, and it's going to change them to whatever is in this function. That may not make sense to you, but we're going to have to declare these all as pointers, because we have to store them in memory. That means we're also going to have to do that ampersand thing. So does it tell me that's now a pointer? Just go ahead and make all of those a pointer. I think we're going to have to do this also in this function, I believe. Because for some reason it will yell at us if we try to convert to pointers in there. Don't know why, it just does. Don't worry about... Oh, never mind, I was looking at that one. Sorry. Cannot convert imp type equals... Yep. So now that all those are pointers, we just come down here and we just put an address of in front of all those. Address of, address of, address of. Give me your address. So if we fix this, it should fix that debugging change. Oh fuck, what did I change? What did I screw up so majorly? What have I done? Okay, so it's pointing to all that crap, and it should be swapping just fine. Do I have to put the address over there? Maybe? dx equals blah 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 x1 incompatible. Okay, we can also do swap down here, I think is y. Swap at the value of x1 at the value of y1 at the value of x2 at the value of y2. Ah, so irritating. And maybe that'll fix the problem, because now it's swapping both sides properly. Ah! Nope, just screwed something else up, because now it's not swapping on that whole entire side. So it is our swap function that's wrong. We are going to keep that, because we're going to need that down there as well. Because we want to swap. The reason is, why is it yelling at me? Nope, it's not there. I really don't want it to change all those. Alright, let's do it. All those are going to have to be pointers, I guess. Control find. Nope, let's just find int and replace with int star. When all else fails, find and replace. Except for our colors are not going to want to point anywhere. If they point somewhere, then don't know what they would point to. Their colors, would they point to themselves? Possibly. Pointception. Oh, no, we're good. So now it's going to see those and yell me because they're not pointers. Swap. Fuck, I fucked something else up majorly there. Pointer arithmetics. Arithmetic or enum type. Times y1. I really believe I've screwed something up here and it's right in front of me, I just can't see it. Allow me to pause the video and debug again. And I'm sorry about that, guys. I really thought I was doing the right thing, but I kinda did it wrong. So it turns out all we need in the swap function is the int pointer to x1 and x2. And they should be declared as pointers in this as well, but only those two variables, and I'll explain why. Well, for one, we have int temp. We do not want that to be a pointer, because that's only going to apply to this function in here. We don't have temp anywhere in this, so it's not going to apply it. It's going to do all the math and stuff in this. Well, it's going to swap the values in this, and then it's going to apply that to this. The rest of them should be pointers though, because they all should be pointing to something, except for temp. When the very last one should be, sorry, that should be pointer x2 equals temp. Just leave it at that, because once again, temp is not a pointer variable. Now this means this temporary variable is pointing to x1. x1 equals x2, x2 equals temp. This just swaps all their values. For in the case that your run is greater than your rise. For any of you who have never taken Algebra 1, You've got your grid here, and this is our line of slope. Our run is our x value, because it's how far it's running to the right, and our rise is literally how much it's going up, like the sun rises upward. So let's say that our rise is greater than our run, like if it goes up that much for every pixel, and we're only putting 1 pixel for every x value that we go up. It could be like that, and then we'd end up with like rise up here, second pixel there. I know I'm not doing it any justice, but you get a line where it only has a few pixels in it. It may not make sense because I'm not drawing very well, because I can't draw well with this tool. But I swear that it makes sense and that it works. And all it does is just swaps those values so it loops through the y instead. And what we do is we do swap at the address of x1 and x2, swap at the address of y1 and y2, and we copy and paste that for this situation right here, the if dy is less than 0. Then we go down to this situation where it's if dx is less than 0, and we do the exact same thing. And that's all we're going to do. And as you can see, it works perfectly fine down there. It's not encountering any errors. Oh, what did I do? Whoa, there's some major stuff going on here, bro. Here's something cool. Oh, that's weird. It used to be, if I were to quickly drag off the screen, well, my line might actually stay there. It's very strange. Not that it's working now, it's just... And it's also cool it stays off. Like you can still have mouse input as long as one button's pressed. Yeah. So it's nothing special, it's just a mouse input. But it does demonstrate how pointers can be used, even if you don't understand it. It just shows that they might come in handy later for just cleaning up some stuff. With what I've taught you now. I mean, when we get to, like, to this pointer and, like I've been talking about for this lesson, which would be a while. We don't need to know it for a while. It's not going to hurt or help us any at this point. And I'm at about 42 minutes. Alright. So, just try to implement some pointers every now and then. I mean, it's good coding practice. You may not want to, you may want to. It's whatever floats your boat, basically. Remember our little chart here, even though it is messy, I hope you can follow along with it. I'm going to try to set up these charts beforehand, because it'll be easier. Maybe some octagons. Nah, don't worry, there'll be no octagons. Speech bubbles? Most likely not, but they're always fun to have. And like I said, we might be making a Pong game. We also might be making tic-tac-toe, because that is a lot more challenging to do, believe it or not. I can create this from the top of my head, but tic-tac-toe, the artificial intelligence for that is just a bitch to create. So, I'm thinking about not even doing tic-tac-toe for a while until we've gotten down artificial intelligence, which is abbreviated as AI. I might put this on the website. You guys can go ahead and check it out. And it's under this AI. And this is probably the simplest artificial intelligence I could create. At my convenience right now. I mean, I probably could have made it a little bit better, like, if there's no possibility of, for the enemy paddle to get it, then the enemy paddle needs to speed up so that way it can reach it and stuff. Yeah. Which isn't a bad idea. And then the sound effects, which are always cool. Stop binging at me. Oh, that's a good bing. Watch me kick this guy's ass. Oh! That is very weird. Whoa, where'd everything go, bro? What is it doing? Oh my god. Whoa. I like that. I can move it around and it screws everything up. Oh boy. Whoa. So yeah. Another challenge for you guys would be a notepad kind of thing. Or not notepad, paint. Basically where I can draw on this. And I might be able to draw inside of our own framework to show you exactly what's going on. Might be cool. I'm thinking about making that. It might go along with the mouse input better. Well, it definitely will. I'm also thinking about creating buttons and stuff for my games. For example, this Pong game I've created. What the fuck is that, bro? It's this. Yep. As you've noticed, it starts right away. So you don't have much of a chance to get ready for it. You have no controls or anything. Some of that stuff requires loading sprite fonts, but I believe I can make it work. Yeah, and tell me if you guys are really interested in making games like this. It is slightly hard. I'm not gonna lie about that. Let me turn down the volume so you can hear me better. But I also know that a lot of people like messing around with artificial intelligence because it's kind of cool to create something computer that can learn. This isn't learning anything. This does not learn. That requires very, very high coding level standards, basically. Being able to store its data in memory and stuff. So, yep. If you guys have any ideas on games you'd like to see, let me know and I'll do my best to recreate them and then see what I can do in a video. 2D. I've been trying to implement scrolling. That's a hard enough challenge on its own. I might have showed you that, guys, that. But yeah, check out my website for some updates. That's probably going to be your best bet at getting a hold of me. So, thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, and subscribe.